The mission of the Holland Museum is preserving our past, imagining our future. We do this by collecting historical documents and objects that tell the story of Holland's past. Through these stories, we learn about the courage, determination, and lives of people that came before us. This look at humanity allows us the chance to look at and learn about ourselves. Knowing who we were and who we are is a key to imagining our future.
Good evening and welcome to the inaugural episode of Preserving Our Stories. Tonight, a sweet history of the Holland Peanut Store. I'm Nathan Bocks, the mayor of Holland. It's my pleasure to be your host. I've been a big fan of the Holland Museum and Holland Peanut Store for as long as I can remember. I want to thank you for joining us and supporting the Holland Museum and its educational outreach programs. Now, before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. We've got a full house, so for everyone's enjoyment, please make sure that you're muted throughout the entire program. And I'm not going to let you forget that this is a fundraiser. The purpose of this event is to raise money for the museum and its educational initiatives. And believe me, we're going to make it easy for you to give. I want to thank all of the sponsors of tonight's events, especially our legacy sponsors, Jim and Carol Stroop and the Gentex Corporation. Founded in 1974, Gentex Corporation is a leading supplier of digital vision, connected car, dimmable glass, and fire protection technologies. Their collaborative culture is founded on a devotion to quality and innovation. They're passionate about what they do and how they do it. Tonight, you're going to hear more about the museum, its impact, their educational outreach focus, and of course, watch a delightful conversation with the friendly and familiar faces of the Fabiano family of Holland Peanut Store. Now, Holland Peanut Store is known for treats, and we have some for you as well. Now, because you're participating in this event tonight, you'll be the first to receive the link to the full and unedited conversation with the family. It's almost 3 hours long. And after tonight's video, we'll have a live question and answer session with two fifth-generation members of the Fabiano family, Sarah Krebsky and Samantha Stille-Von Websky. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat box so that we can get the answers for you. And we have treats for you. And of course, so does the Holland Peanut Store. Now, if you've already sneaked a taste from your goodie bag, that's okay. Treats from the Holland Peanut Store are hard to resist. Now, I wanted to make sure, and so did the folks at the Fabiano family, they wanted to make sure that you knew what it was that was inside your goodie bag. We've got a half-pound box of hand-dipped specialty chocolates, nut clusters, and the nuts come in raw, roasted in the store, and then hand-dipped one by one in Holland Peanut Store chocolate. Truffles and other specialty chocolates are purchased from other multi-generational family businesses, and everything is handmade. In addition, we've got a supply of mixed nuts for you that are freshly roasted in the store. And on top of that, a voucher for a Nutty Paddle Pop. It's good for one famous Fabiano ice cream bar, hand dipped in chocolate and then rolled in their fresh roasted crushed peanuts. And for those of you who don't like peanuts, it's also available in plain. So let's sit back, relax, dip into your goodie bags, and watch the sweet history of Holland Peanut Store.
I am a donor, member, and volunteer with the Holland Museum because not only does the museum allow us to see our community's progress through history, it also makes itself relevant today through programs on current events that impact our community.
Education is really, really important to me, and telling stories about people that are untold and sort of providing a voice to those, the voiceless, is really important.
During the time that I have been involved in the museum the last 5 or 6 years, I have found this to be a great organization that deserves as much support as possible.
I support and sponsor the Holland Museum because I believe in preserving our history and our community stories. We have such a rich history and we are unique. We have dealt with adversity and we think big.
Preserving our past, imagining our future. Standing here in the Spark Lab at the Holland Museum, exploring the process of invention. The Holland Museum and Holland Public Schools have many shared values. Lifelong learning, elevating the voices of our community, the ability to foster a sense of community, a time to celebrate stories, preserve our unique history together, and inspire the future. These elements and more come to life here at the Holland Museum. The funds raised this evening will go to support a number of events and activities that are provided to us, whether it's visiting the galleries and different exhibits, to the Capon House, the Settlers House, and other activities that are sponsored throughout the year. We appreciate your generosity and consideration.
Hi, I'm Paula Fabiano, fourth generation Fabiano, and my favorite is the fruit and nut bark, dark chocolate fruit and nut bark.
Hi, I'm Celeste Porepsky, fourth generation as well. Seafoam is probably my favorite dark chocolate.
I'm Sarah Porepsky. I am the fifth generation, and I love anything with our chocolate.
Hi, I'm Thomas Fabiano. I'm fourth generation. My favorite product would be our homemade nut clusters, milk and dark chocolate.
I'm Samantha Stille von Websky. I'm fifth generation. My favorite would have to be dark chocolate pecan clusters that we hand dip.
Mary Stille, fourth generation, the same, dark pecan cluster.
Paul C. Fabiano, third generation, founder with my father of the Holland Peanut Store. And settle for a dark pecan turtle any day. Years ago, my father and his father had wholesale fruits and veggies where they used to get carload of bananas in. My dad used to pedal with his horse and buggy before the trucks came into existence. He used to get up 3 o'clock in the morning and go to Fenville and deliver bananas. 19 teens, he bought his father out. His father moved to Rochester and my dad took over the store. He went to a merchant's meeting one time, back in the 1919, or earlier than that probably, in 1915. And all of a sudden they started the meeting, it was all in Dutch. And my dad, "Sir," he says, "this is America." He says, "I'm Italian and I'm proud of it. I don't speak Dutch. I know a few words that I picked up during my time in Holland here. But either you talk English or I'm leaving." And I guess a few of the people were quite stunned that my dad had enough nerve to stand up and speak for himself. And ever since then, I think they held their meetings in English. The original store was Fabiano Soda Bar, where Gazelle Sports says. You look above the building, it says Fabiano's. My dad built that in 1919. We lived above the store, so we couldn't escape to work. So I got a few years of experience in the place. Then in 1954, we started the peanut store. That's when I went with my dad. My two brothers had the original Fabiano Soda Bar. They made a lot of candy. Peanut brittle, hard candy, anise squares, butterscotch squares, marshmallow, seafoam. Candy canes was an art in itself. They bought it from my father in '52 and I was in the Army then. And then they closed it in '79.
Grandpa, was it particularly challenging to have like two family businesses open at the same time?
Well, when we opened it, they didn't have the mall. They didn't have the big box stores on the north side. everything was downtown. Even all your doctor's offices was above the retail stores. You might say friendly competitors. We did a lot of buying together, my brothers and I. And if I didn't have it, I sent them to my brothers, and if they didn't have it, they sent them to me. So, I mean, it was no animosity towards each other. We were still one big, loving Italian family. Got married in '55. Esther was a big help in running the store. And then once the children start coming, she was a busy little gal. She worked in the store, plus raising a family. So the credit goes to her.
We are who we are because of our ancestors. Grandpa taught Dad, Dad taught us how to be in a retail store and how to treat people as we would want to be treated. So we learned a lot from them as far as the facade of the business, or how we are presented to the public. So I think that has been a great asset to us. My dad would always say, you know somebody's name, you look them in the eye and you say their name. That is such a simple thing, but it has to be taught. And my dad and my grandpa taught us that.
1 for 5 and 5 for 10. Thank you, Temple.
What you appreciate from each other that has helped the business to grow, survive, flourish.
That's a good point.
You have enough tape?
I was going to say, well, I think each of us have, a certain quality that we bring to the store. And so, Mary is the books, and she's just so smart. And Tom is the roaster of the nuts. He does a fabulous job, and he is out there, and he knows PR. There you go. He is great. Yes.
We can sit here and tell everyone's title and do everything, but it's all our personalities that have meshed.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every single personality is meshed into making this an incredible, successful business. We've all cried on each other's shoulders. We've all yelled at each other's. I have made probably everyone in these chairs cry, not proud of that. Our personalities conflicted, but our personalities love on each other. I mean, let's face it, I could sit here and describe every single one, but you don't have enough tape. Mary is the glue. She's the flat out glue. She's the books. She's the type A.
Dipper.
Because if it was organizational skills for Celeste and I, we wouldn't know where one of the invoices is right now. But the strength of Celeste is different than the strength of Mary, and my strength is different than Paula, and Samantha's is different from Sarah's. But when you mesh it all together, it creates a 5th generation business that survived recessions, depressions, COVID.
We had sand and plywood on the streets in 1988, the summer. It was like the old West, and
it was not good.
It wasn't. It was
Sidewalk sales were in the back.
We thought that tumbleweeds were going to go down the street because it was barren. However, we all had faith. The Tiermans, the Vogelsang's, the Hungerinks at Reader's World, the Locker Ruggers, the Cobises, Vanderpool's at Superior Sports Store. They had faith as well, and their customers had faith, and people chose to continue to keep us going. And that was encouraging, and it was, it brought us to tears, and we were really grateful.
Yeah,
and we also had a faith in our family. We never looked back. We never doubted it.
People, when the mall was built, they said, oh, downtown this, downtown that. And this gentleman sitting to my right said, don't hold our funeral yet. And look who's standing and look who's not. We're standing and strong as ever. And I think it's a credit to the community of Holland. It's a credit to consumer of Holland that they kept supporting us. But I think it's a credit to our whole town, the townships, the surrounding cities, and I just think I just so grateful for how we just stuck together as a town. That's when I was at the core of diving into the business, and I saw that we weren't going to let some developers from out of town ruin our city.
But in 1998, it went from a sole proprietorship to an LLC. So then you had, you know, Paula managing and the three of us. So there was anxiety with seeing how we were all going to make a living as opposed to one family. So now we had 4 families. So for me, being the bookkeeper, there was anxiety with, are we going to be okay? Even Celeste and I had our husbands, Tom, you know, there was just anxiety with that. And then, not that we didn't know each other's personalities, but then there was anxiety with, there was 4 of us coming to work every single day.
People come in there for the comfort. They come in for the fellowship, so to speak. I've heard that many a time, and then they say, you know, we come in for the fellowship primarily, but secondarily we come in for the candy now. And so I think it's kind of a cheap therapy. It's affordable luxury candy, and so I feel like that. I miss, because I'm retired, I miss a lot of the people.
You want to kill our business? Try remodeling that building.
It's true. People come in here, they say, do not change a thing.
Do not change.
Do
We got a deal on green paint 35 years ago, and we haven't changed it since. We are using a peanut in the shell roaster that my father bought used in 1954.
Right.
That's the big cast iron.
And they don't make them like that anymore.
No, you probably
And the nut case, Dad can comment on that.
We had that special made.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's got a heater on the bottom, but we found out that if you heat the cashews and pecans and stuff, say from 9 to 5 or 9 to 9, and shut it off and then open it again, kind of makes them rubbery, so we don't use the heat anymore. But like they said, the peanuts in the shell roaster we bought used in '54, and it's still going today. We had the chocolate cases made in Grand Rapids. Quality is there. I don't know if you bought it new today what the quality is like, because I can't comment on it because I haven't bought it new. But we're happy with what we got out of it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We got our money's worth out of that, huh, Dad?
But 2020 started uniquely for us because we lost the matriarch in February on Leap Day, February 29th. So right after we were able to give her the funeral, the going home ceremony that we wanted to, then we were shut down, so we were all separate. And then that was hard to maneuver on top of everything else. So I think it was multifaceted for us.
Mary, that's a very good point, because you know, our family being so close, we could not gather and commiserate the death of our mother. And then plus on top of that, then not even a month after that, then we had COVID to deal with. So we were grieving, but then again, we had to rally with the COVID.
Because we were in uncharted territory for our family and then for the business.
Right.
Unprecedented.
None of us knew what 2020 would bring between the division of this country and then with COVID. So we all had a part in to keep the store operating without having a mental or a physical breakdown, because we didn't know what to expect. We were scared, we were intimidated, but we kept our nose to the grindstone. But I think the 5th generation deserves most of the credit because they kept it going. Samantha, like I said, from the social side of it, and Sarah from the physical side of it. And then they were both raising their beautiful children in between that. Pretty much allowed us to be still operating in 2021. So it was a very, 2020 could have been really, really negative, but we turned it into a positive because we salvaged a pretty good year.
We're natural leaders because we have always been in the store, and people just naturally look to us for leadership and for just all different sets of skills that I didn't even really know that I had until I went out into the real world, and I was able to take all of that and be successful and appreciate everything that I have gathered, all along that we just necessarily didn't know through that hands-on experience and watching everybody before us and what hard workers they are.
A couple words that come to mind are resiliency, perseverance, hard work. Our family has faced quite a bit of adversity from the beginning to even today. And so to watch, our family continue to show up for each other, but also our professional selves to show up in our business when it's needed to. There's just nothing like it.
I put in some long hours in my day and I don't regret it. I made a lot of good friends. My customers turned out to be a lot of my good friends. I hope college students, after coming in for 4 years, you get to know them. And then what I was happy about, after 20, 25 years, they would stop in and say hello when they were bringing their kids to Hope. That was a nice feeling. We were fortunate to have Holland support us, our loyal customers. That's why we've been in business for over 115 years. But in return, we gave our customers good service, good product, fair price, and the friendship that goes with it.
This is the only reason I had friends. They knew my dad and mom owned a candy store.
I mean, for me, the thing that comes to mind is not knowing anybody growing up as a kid, your mom's down there at the store on a Sunday, so that's where we are. So, my brother, Michael, my dad and I, and then everyone, the whole extended family comes down. And so, we're there and, realizing that when you become a little bit older and you realize, well, I kind of want to be home. It's well, you can either be a part of the solution to get home, so you start working. And so then, but then, it becomes more than that though too, because all of a sudden, with our unsophisticated radio that we used to have, we used to play CDs and, Bruce Springsteen, Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, and when a good song came on, we'd crank it up. Oh, yeah. And then we'd all just at our posts or leave our posts and we'd start dancing and become this big party, but our store's closed. Thank goodness it was, happening on a Sunday because the downtown's closed. Wonder if people looked in. People I'm sure did see us go crazy. Right. But those are my favorite memories. I mean, we used to have these old tin cans for covers for some of our things, and we would take them and make them as symbols down at the store. We sometimes made lemons into lemonade. You know what I mean? By being there all together, and those are some of my favorite memories. And remembering, playing as kids and Michael being there, and it's just some very special times.
That's a great memory, Sammy. One of my favorite memories is how the generations, maybe, I don't know if the right word is, they have it easier or they're not as harsh on them. Because when Sarah first joined us, and she was still in high school, and right before she was going to go off to Western Michigan, Grandpa took a scraper and a wet towel and said, Sarah, I'd like you to go around the store and scrape everything off the floor, dirty spots that a mop could get. And Sarah went, yeah, right. 3 minutes later, Grandpa's doing it.
Well,
See, that's
that's
the
also
that's the grandpa to the granddaughter
Here,
relationship.
I was just gonna say,
It is
as
so
a grand-
awesome to see that. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
that's the best part about it. That's a great memory for me that
That's a good one, Tom.
that she could actually laugh at grandpa and get away with it. You know, so.
For the record, I truly thought that he was kidding. I really thought that he was kidding. I really did.
Well, so Sarah, he had the scraper.
That's what he always walks around with a scraper and a wet towel.
That's awesome.
Good job, Sarah.
Thank you for being here for this very special program of Preserving Our Stories. I hope you are enjoying learning about this wonderful family and the history of their business. As an attendee tonight, you will get access to the full, unedited video of this family story, first, before the general public. Your ticket purchase provides critical funding for the museum's education initiatives. This includes exhibitions, tours, programs, all which provide an enrichment for our community. The Holland Museum is a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1937. We are not owned or operated by any government or institution. We are funded by admissions, gift shop sales, and by you as members, donors, sponsors, and grantors. Your participation in this program will help keep the museum's education operation going. Thank you.
We believe that a museum is a very important part of our community, and certainly the Holland Museum is that. We appreciate the fact that this museum not only has documented the past, but continues to work hard to document the changes that are occurring in our community all the time.
Your financial gift will provide an opportunity to preserve stories. They will put it to good use. Their staff is highly dedicated. They'll make sure that it is put where it needs to be, where it deserves to be.
Your gift tonight helps support the museum's initiatives for education that are vital to this community and also vital to the museum.
Now I would like to ask for your help for museum education outreach as well. Money raised this evening, tonight, will provide transportation and access to the museum for under-resourced families and schools. So $50 will provide museum membership to a family who cannot afford an annual pass and give them access to changing exhibits, Spark Lab, and programs. $100 will provide a classroom session with a museum professional who will bring Spark Lab activities or other educational programs directly to them in the school. $175 will provide a bus, transportation, driver, and admission for a class to visit the Holland Museum or our historic homes for most area schools.
Supporting the museum this evening is very important.
Please donate to the Holland Museum now.
If you could donate tonight, we really need your support. Thank you.
Donations are easy to put off. We'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it next week. What we need you to do is to do it now.
With your help, we can make an impact on classrooms and families who do not otherwise have the resources to learn about our past or imagine our future. Use the QR code on the screen to make your donation now, or after the program, go to hollandmuseum.org. With your help, we can make an even bigger impact on the lives of area youth and their families. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Welcome back. Hopefully you've saved something in your goodie bags for later. And what a wonderful story and a great opportunity this evening to learn about the Fabiano family and the history of Holland Peanut Store. Now, as was just mentioned, the other purpose of tonight's program is to support the education outreach programs of the Holland Museum. And we've made it easy for you to do just that. There was the QR code on your screen. When that appears, just take your smartphone camera and point it at the link. You've probably done this with restaurant menus recently. That will bring you directly to the museum's donation website so that you can give generously to the museum's outreach programs. Now, if you want to do it the new old-fashioned way, there's also a web link to the donation site in the chat page. Now, the QR code and the link will be available until the end of the program tonight. I now have the pleasure of introducing you to two of the fifth generation members of the Fabiano family. They're Celeste and Mary's daughters, and that makes them cousins. I want to welcome Sarah Prebsky and Samantha Stille-Van Websky. Sarah, Samantha, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight to share your family story. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having us. It's been an honor. We're happy to be here. Thank you.
Now, I've got some questions for you that other folks have asked. I've got some for me, and I told you, I promised you before the event, I'll try not to make it too difficult for you. And we're going to start out with a really, really easy one, hopefully. So what is the most popular selling item at Holland Peanut Store?
Go first. The most popular selling item, one of them would have to be our double dipped milk and or dark chocolate covered peanuts. And then also from our hand dipped case, a lot of our fresh roasted and hand dipped in our chocolate nuts, almond clusters, pecan clusters, peanut, cashew, coconut, Oreos. About a third of our case is hand dipped by us. So those items are also best-selling items.
And all of the nuts that our uncle roasts, we get them in raw from all over the world, really. And they're cooked right in the store, right in our, our great place.
So that brings up a question that I had in my mind after I watched the video. And when you were talking about, all of you being there together, maybe on a Sunday, all at your posts or not at your post, dancing and enjoying the music. And I thought to myself, when do you ever take a break, and how is it possible that you guys can be there during the day, running the store, selling to people like me, but also hand dipping Oreos and nuts and chocolates? And so can you give us a little background on how all of that works and what your typical day or week might be like?
Yeah, well, breaks are not frequent for our family. It's a really special place because there's always an owner or a family member in the store. So that only takes care of the retail side, like you said. There is my aunt, Sammy's mom, or Samantha, or my uncle or our grandpa, and they do a lot of the behind the scenes. So breaks are few and far between, thank goodness for our Sundays, which our sweet grandmother that you learned about tonight fought for and won. And we're grateful for that day with our family. And, we cherish our family so much that we make time, it's just like anything else. You have to make it a priority.
So are you guys at the store in the off hours then dipping the chocolates, or is that going on behind the scenes while all of us are looking at the candy counter?
It depends on the time of year. So I would say it's more behind the scenes steadily throughout the year, but as soon as you kind of hit the end of November to basically January 1st, we're putting in 50 plus easily hours a week. So that's what, staying closed on a Sunday is good for, because our family, even though we're closed, we're still down there like little elves working. And so a lot of our roasting for the week, we catch up that day. So, we're still roasting almost every day or dipping, but those are big catch up days. So yeah.
So even though the store is only open 6 days a week, it's a 7-day-a-week operation for you guys.
It can be, yeah, especially during holiday time. That is, our great time that we love, but it's our busiest time, so we are there absolutely 7 days a week during our holiday time. And then I would say some of our summer peak weeks. Yeah, we try to have some fun in between too.
So we saw pictures of the two of you as little kids in the store. What's your earliest memory involving the store?
Yeah, I think before I can even have like any memories inside of the store, I would remember my mom having to go to work on a Monday night. Both of our mothers actually worked at the store on Monday nights. So that was our like time away from mom. That wasn't that we weren't really used to. But it made us the hard workers that we are today. So that would be one of my first memories.
Yeah, I think one of mine and what I was trying to describe more in the video was probably a holiday driven memory where we're just little tykes trying to like occupy our own time. So I remember making like a little soccer ball out of newspapers and wrapping it with whatever tape was there. And then we would like, because it was soft and couldn't hurt any of the candy, and we'd be like on the back aisle playing and having, snacks and picnics while our whole family worked, until we got older and then started to work ourselves. But probably kind of that for me.
And now it's really special because our kids do the same thing, while we're down there on Sundays during Christmas. It's a special thing to see.
Oh, that's really cool. So with Christmas, I know I've gone by at the different holiday seasons, and the front windows are always decorated with different candy. Who is it that's doing the decoration in the windows and the great candy displays that are there?
Well, it's definitely a team effort. Our Aunt Paula, I would say, is kind of the mastermind behind the creation of windows. But, she learned from our grandpa. Our grandpa did it all. Grandpa pretty much did everything when he had the store. So it's been passed down. Sammy and I work on the windows. I'm in the store quite a bit, so I do the windows now since Aunt Paula is not in the store as often.
No, your great grandpa came over from Italy. Is that correct?
Would be our great.
Great. We're going back. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you tell me the history. So the family originally came from Italy. Do you know the story of why they chose Holland, Michigan, and why they decided to settle here?
Yeah, I don't know if that's kind of far back. We don't have all of that. Our grandpa is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. I know that our family there was, looking for a different opportunity and a different way of life. So they came here, and we can definitely ask our grandpa for more of that information and, get it out to you guys. I don't know the reason behind the settlement here. Yeah.
Okay, I got another one for you. And this is one that's really that probably spans the generations of the store. How is it that you guys have been able to distinguish yourself and survive the competitiveness of all of the big national retailers who can probably underprice you in a lot of different areas? What's the secret to the success for 120 years?
Yeah, I would say without a doubt our presence, our customer service, and just our passion to really be in the community and be with our customers and make a difference and be, involved in events like this. We have beyond a store, it is part of us, and we like to be a part of the community and have the community share that with us.
Yeah, I think our community is really special. Holland in itself is like a really special bubble of a place that, cherishes a more small personal connection. So the pendulum has really swung
to shop and support small businesses, because without those businesses, and what is left, what, like Sarah said, what we have given back to the community, in the small ways that we can, but we have a presence here. We really care. But our community has really cared about us as well, which we're so grateful for.
Yeah. I mean, our loyal customers and our customer base, they are our friends, they're an extended part of our family. I mean, it's something that has literally taken, 100 years to build, that is so special, because you can't just open the doors of a business and have that loyalty and customer base like we do. We're so grateful.
I'm not going to ask you to name names, but I'm guessing you probably have some regulars that come into the store frequently. Are there people that you see over and over again over the course of the week or the month?
Oh yeah, yep. And even if it's to stop in and say hello, or ask us how something in the kid's life went, or vice versa, to share a picture, or there's a new birth, or there's a graduation. Or even we have people come in that are having hardships, and they want to feel a little bit of relief, a little bit of care, and we hope that people can find that in the store also.
It sounds like for some people it's more than just candy and chocolate. It's that comfort that comes with that, and that feeling of home that comes from that.
Definitely. We kind of like to say we're not just a candy store, obviously. We're home to some people. It's our second home, but it's also like we're a coach, we're church, we're, it's a lot of it, everything. And people are that for us too. I mean, it goes both ways.
Yeah. So there are family members that work in the store, and as you said, there's someone there all the time, but there are a lot of folks that aren't necessarily family. How do you go about finding employees and train them? Because I know every time I've been there, everybody always seems so happy and attentive. How do you make that work? How do you get those folks in there?
I'd say a lot of community connection, a lot of family, friends, and family connections. I mean, we're so grateful for our staff currently and everybody that has come before them. I mean, we are, we say it's our peanut store family, our Holland peanut store family. We're so grateful. We've been really blessed in that area. And, people come in and say, I want a job here. And we say, okay, when you hit the age and you are able to work, you come on in. And a lot of employees have been customers and friends.
Now, is candy part of the pay?
I would say yes, a very small part.
And so you've got the local business. Have you guys reached out onto the internet? I know I come in and get my favorites right off the shelf, but is there a corporate business? Have you expanded that way? Or are you focusing on local?
I think, we currently do not have an e-commerce website. And that's something that we have thrown around probably within the last 5 years or so more seriously. Mm-hmm. But with that comes a lot of other, snowball and back effects. And that may be something that, in the future, Sarah and I may look into a little bit further, but that would change our business quite a bit. And so we have to be ready for something like that. But for now, we have a small presence online with some of our social media platforms, but mostly we do have, we ship all across the country. So people can find us and give us a call, an old-fashioned call, or stop in. That's still available, but we don't have any website or anything at the moment.
I would think that there would be, Hope College students or other locals that may have moved away and said, I need something from the Holland Peanut Store. I just need my fix. So I'm guessing you get some of those inquiries periodically. And then do you also do, gift packages, gift baskets at the holidays for businesses as well?
We do. Yeah, that's a huge part of our holiday business. And we've been really fortunate to work with a lot of corporations year after year. They buy for their employees and, other partners that they have.
So we really appreciate that. It's a great partnership to have with corporations in the community, and then, other businesses outside of our community also.
Tom mentioned in the video that, one of the worst things that you could possibly do would be to remodel the inside of the store. It's, that green paint that's been there forever and all of the shelves with all the great things on it. But one of the things that I've noticed over the years are the number of college flags. Can you give us a little background on all of the flags that are in the store?
Sure, yeah. I think it started with just the United States flag, the Hope College flag, and the Notre Dame flag. And then people would come in and kind of say, why this, why that? And then, when my grandpa would say, well, Hope College, because we're loyal to Hope College is here and sustains us, and we love Hope, and obviously the United States flag. And then, my grandpa attended the University of Notre Dame, and my mom actually attended or graduated from St. Mary's, the sister school. So we have long ties to the University of Notre Dame as well. But when people started, I said, well, I want my flag up. And they're like, well, you bring it and we'll fly it. And so that's kind of how it started. And so people come in today still and look down our hallways and when they say, oh, where my school's flag here? We'll say, well, you bring it in and we'll fly it. And that's, if you can't find it, we will, bring it on in.
Well, that's great. Well, this year was obviously a difficult year. What do you think was the biggest challenge the business has overcome? Has it been this past year dealing with the pandemic, or have there been other big challenges that the family and the business have had to work through in the 120 years?
This year was definitely a challenge. I mean, I would say for Sammy and I, in our experience, the greatest challenge. Like you saw on the video, streetscape and the snow melt system. I know that was a really big challenge for our family and, the entire downtown. But yeah, the pandemic brought a lot of challenge in a lot of different ways, just like for everybody across the board.
How are you seeing things moving forward as things are starting to open up? Are things getting better? How was tulip time this year? What does it look like for the next year or so?
I think things are looking up. I think that, downtown did a great job getting through, and we're still learning every day and changing protocol as we go, and making sure that we're keeping our business safe, our employees and our families safe, but also being open to the public and serving as best we can. So I think that we're really going in a great direction, but we learn something every day.
So you two are kind of the young ones of the leadership of the business. What do you see for the future of the Holland Peanut Store? What does the next 100 years look like?
Well, I think one of the really special things about our family is there is no pressure. We are so grateful, but then we also know that some people have other paths. I could speak for myself. My mom is looking to retire in the near future, probably this summer. So we have started discussions and progress in the direction to see if it would be a fit for me to hop in after my mom leaves. And my path is a bit more unclear. My mom has a little bit more time. And I, we both have young families. So that plays a big role into it. And yeah, it's nice because our family is really like zero pressure. Would be super proud if we jumped in head first, and would be just as proud as if we said, oh, I don't know if it's for us. So, but yeah, I think that's where we're at right now.
Any other younger family members thinking about getting into the business? Have you groomed your own kids yet?
Our kids are all about it, of course. We have, between the two of us, 3 under 5. Yeah, I have a 5-year-old, and then yes, I have a 3 and a 2, almost 2-year-old. So yeah, they benefit from it and they love it. And it's, it's becoming their second home too.
Definitely.
Frequent visits and whatnot.
Yes,
But
more of like a gathering place and a snack place and, a place to get loved on a little extra.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, I want to thank you too for not only being here tonight, but for sharing your want to thank all of the members of the Fabiano family for sharing the story of Holland Peanut Store with all of us. And I also want to thank all of our sponsors, and especially our legacy sponsors, Jim and Carol Stroop and Gentex Corporation. And I want to thank all of you for joining us and supporting the Holland Museum. And while you're taking one more bite from your goodie bag, I want you to follow up and scan that QR code or go to the web link in the chat. Get yourself to the donation website and please give generously to support the educational outreach at the Holland Museum. We hope you've enjoyed this inaugural episode of Preserving Our Stories, a sweet history of the Holland Peanut Store. For the Fabiano family, the Holland Museum, and everyone who loves local treats, I'm Nathan Bocks, Mayor of the City of Holland. Thank you and good night. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.